Hello, fellow Megatenists, and welcome to another episode of Niche Game Trivia. Today we're going to cover some trivia about the video game Shin Megami Tensei Strange Journey. Shin Megami Tensei Strange Journey was released in Japan on October 8th, 2009 and March 23rd the following year in the US. The game was considered a mainline entry and differs in a number of ways. First and foremost, it takes place in the Antarctic. It also features a multicultural cast and is another game like Nocturne that is heavily saturated in tone and atmosphere. This game was also Alice's return to the handheld format for mainline games, and originally Strange Journey was considered for development on the PSP. Here's what Eiji Ishida had to say about that. We actually had PSP in mind as well, but the decisive factor was the desire to have new fans play the game too. I believe most Shin Megami Tensei players are currently around 30 years old, but I realized they might be busy with work and end up not having enough time to play games. So I figured everyone has a DS anyway. Well, I'm not really sure how right I was about that, but I also thought it would be pretty cool to have two screens. One clincher was having the lower screen for information, since switching is really annoying. The game wasn't actually a success or as successful as Alice originally had hoped, with Alice expecting the game to sell 170,000 copies, but it actually only sold 152,000 copies. Although it didn't sell as well as anticipated, it did reach an unusual milestone of being the highest rated Megaten for its time by Famitsu, scoring a 10, 9, 9, and an 8, or a 36 out of 40. The record now goes to Persona 5 with a score of 39 out of 40. In the Western release of the game, Alice had a special release bundle which came with a special sleeve and a bonus soundtrack. Funny enough, there was a manufacturer error on the CDs which wouldn't play the CDs in a CD player, so they offered to send new CDs through a fulfillment website, www.atlas.com/Strange Journey CD. If you pre-ordered Strange Journey through GameStop, that netted you a mini poster, which would be hidden in the sleeve of the game case. An interesting thing about the protagonist, in the Japanese version he is Japanese, but in the English version he's American. This is humorous due to Japan being not particularly well known for having a noteworthy military. Furthermore, the names used in promotion and in the manual for the English release are all references to The Simpsons. His Japanese name, given in the drama CD, is Tada no Hitonari, a pun on Tada no Hitonari, which means just an ordinary person. The game takes place in Antarctica, in part due to Kaneko wanting to appeal to an international audience and partly due to Ishida not wanting the cause of the Schwarzwald to be tied to a specific country. The score in Strange Journey was shocking to many fans, given Meguro's previous track record of jazz and rock, as this soundtrack was fitted with Gregorian chants and an orchestral movie aesthetic. In the game, you can use passwords for summoning demons, which Kaneko said was a system they hoped would get fans to show off their demons and give them to each other to help each other out. Alice USA gave away special passwords, and a few were actually names of Alice USA staff. For Redo, there was even more new special passwords, one referencing Megaten subreddit, and if you use that password, you would actually receive a Mara, which is fitting if you know the Megaten subreddit. Kaneko says that the most difficult ending is the neutral ending, and he adds that while this is the case, he prefers the chaos ending. Ishida also prefers the chaos ending, and so do I. When discussing how to reach new fans, a particularly humorous statement made by Kaneko is as follows: in order to make people play it, adult Pokemon, definitely play it once you're done with Pokemon. Well, if I said that in a Nintendo interview, it would definitely get cut. He was also questioned about the departure from the norms of SMT, with which he disagreed with that sentiment, saying, "You have the red sprite and a lot of other sci-fi elements here, but from my perspective, SMT has always been about demons, the occult, these unscientific things clashing with state-of-the-art technology. In that regard, I don't think Strange Journey is a departure at all for the series. I mean, to some people, a web URL is a weird mishmash of numbers and letters, right? It's not entirely unlike some kind of magic incantation. Arthur C. Clarke once wrote that any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic, and I think the essence captured in that quote is still the same." Funny enough, Arthur is the name of the ship's AI. In Redo, we're introduced to George, another AI, and finally, in the manga, Death to Mint Shin Megami Tensei DSJ, another report, we have Isaac. These are likely references to sci-fi authors Arthur C. Clarke, who wrote 2001: A Space Odyssey, Isaac Asimov, who wrote I, Robot and the Foundation series, and George may be a reference to either George Orwell, who wrote 1984: An Animal Farm, or H.G. Wells or Herbert George Wells, who wrote The Time Machine and War of the Worlds. Another interesting name meaning is the name Schwarzwelt. It comes from the German word Schwarz, which means black, and Welt, which means world. Each of the sectors also have interesting names, as they are all constellations. The ships have names with significance as well. The Red Sprite, Blue Jet, Elve, and Gigantic are all names of ionospheric lightning, a family of short-lived electrical breakdown phenomena that occurs well above the altitudes of normal lightning. The game was remastered and released for the 3DS in October 26, 2017 and May 2018 in the West. This project was released as part of the 25th anniversary, and the Japanese collection edition actually came with a soundtrack featuring many different mainline songs, as well as Mega 10 Maniacs, a retrospective book featuring information about the entire franchise and content we generally haven't seen before. Alice also collaborated with Code of Joker Pocket. Playing the game would unlock several cards featuring demons from Strange Journey, such as Beelzebub and Demoniho. Speaking of demons, the new demons, along with Alex, the new character introduced for Deep/Redo, were designed by Masayuki Doi, whereas the new character art for every other human character was credited to Atlas Design Team. Promotion was so rampant in Japan that there was even a billboard featuring Anahita displayed in Tokyo. Another cool promotion Atlas did for Strange Journey Redo in Japan was the release of a short Metrovania-style game featuring Jack Frost and Pyrojack. Given the playable cast, the game was nicknamed Jack Bros 2, and in an ironic twist, the game was originally meant to feature Jack Ripper as a third playable character. And I want to end this video on a response to a question I submitted to Ishida, and the question was, what is the coolest scrapped idea you guys had for Strange Journey Redux? And he says, in this game we were planning on adding an additional element from the second run of the game, an in-game app called New Megami Tensei. It began as a joke that was implemented in the original version, and nothing would happen if you launched the app. But this time, instead of a joke, we were thinking of actually having the in-game app, a minigame, launch within the game. And that's it for the video. Did you learn anything new? Is there anything I missed? I actually have another half of the script, so this is only the first half. I have enough to make another one if you guys want. If you want that, go ahead and leave that in the comments below, and I'll probably do that. Make sure to like and subscribe and do whatever. Buy my keychains. All right. Goodbye, fellow Megatenists.